The central bank has made public the monetary policy for the new fiscal year. The policy this time around has drawn attention for all the wrong reasons, as the country is without a finance minister, while Governor Mahaprasad Adhikari has also courted controversy in recent time. The new monetary policy and annual announcement also comes at a time when the country is grappling economic issues such as trade deficit, widening balance of payment, liquidity crisis, dwindling forex reserve and unprecedented inflation, among others. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma and these are the headlines of the hour. Citizenship Bill moved forward by the government, endorsed by a majority despite protests in and outside the parliament. The new bill draws mixed feedbacks. The central bank unveils the monetary policy for the new fiscal year. The policy aims at limiting inflation to 7% while setting economic growth at 8%. Ukraine and Russia signed mirror deals which will allow Kyiv to resume exports of millions of tons of grains currently trapped in Ukraine by the war. Sweden defeat Belgium by a solitary goal to advance into the semi-finals of the Euro Cup. Belgium fails to make a history. Citizenship Bill moved forward by the government has been endorsed by a majority through the parliament yesterday. However, there has been massive protest voiced against the bill, citing that many people will be eligible to receive the citizenship due to generous clauses in the endorsed bill. In the meantime, there are supporting voices for the bill as well, since people whose parents' identity is unknown will also receive their citizenship on the ground of birth. When the Citizenship Amendment Bill was being tabled at the Parliament, protests were also being held outside the Parliament in New Baneshwar. The protest voice in and outside the Parliament is suggestive of the fact that many political forces are not happy about the latest provision in the bill. Now, with the endorsement of the bill, children of parents who received citizenship certificate by birth will be eligible to receive citizenship certificate by descent. At the same time, people whose identity of the parents is unknown will also be eligible to receive citizenship certificate. Likewise, people will also be entitled to receive citizenship certificate in the name of their mothers, while non-resident Nepalese are also eligible to receive their citizenship without political rights. The central bank unveiled monetary policy yesterday aiming to curb loan on unproductive sector. The central bank has also set the inflation target of 7% for the new fiscal year, while the economic growth has been set at 8%. The Nepal Rashtra Bank issues its monetary policy every year with the objective of curbing inflation and limiting interest rates under a certain level, among other targets. With public at the receiving end of the alarming rise in inflation, Nepal Rashtra Bank has tried to address this issue through its newly unveiled monetary policy. With the decrease in foreign currency reserve, Nepal Rashtra Bank faces the challenge of discouraging import and consumption. The monetary policy has targeted to expand private sector credit by 12.6% and the broad money supply by 12%, while it was 19% last year. Likewise, the central bank has increased the cash reserve ratio or CRR to 4% from 3% of the previous fiscal. According to the monetary policy, the margin loan provision has also been altered, as financial institutions and banks can provide loans up to 120 million rupees in the name of share credit. The central bank, while issuing the monetary policy, has faced several challenges such as liquidity crisis, due to which banks and financial institutions were not able to entertain loan spendings. In the face of the coronavirus pandemic, the state forex reserve has significantly dwindled in the past 2 years, as the monetary policy has attempted at decreasing import and consumption of foreign goods. The monetary policy has been introduced as critical time as the trade deficit and balance of payment deficit have recorded unprecedented high. Now, in our Public Voice segment, we've asked people in several provinces why have the newly elected public representatives not presented their financial details despite the lapse of 2 months in office. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
यिनीहरुको लागि रुल एन्ड कन्डक्ट नै फलो गर्दैनन्
हेलचेक्रै गर्नुभयो कि
जनताप्रति उत्तरदायी नभएर होला
खासमा यिनीहरुले कानुनलाई नै नमानेको जस्तो देखिन्छ
सिस्टममा चल्न पर्ने हो सिस्टममा चलिराखेको छैन
व्यवस्था गरेको देखिन्छ नटेरेको
Coronavirus cases have been on the rise in the country in recent time. 384 new COVID-19 cases were reported in the past 24 hours as 2,168 samples were tested through the PCR method. With this, Nepal has, since the start of the pandemic, reported 983,103 positive cases of the deadly virus. No deaths due to the virus have been reported as of late. However, the virus has taken the lives of 11,954 in Nepal so far. Out of the 2,841 active cases at the moment, 2,708 are in home isolation, 133 in institutional isolation and 22 are receiving treatment in ICUs. Meanwhile, 80 people have registered full recovery from the virus in the past 24 hours. Likewise, 386,782 received COVID-19 vaccines in the past 48 hours. According to Ministry of Health and Population, 48.4 million doses of COVID vaccines have been administered in the country so far, while 20.9 million have received one dose of the vaccine and 20.5 million 2 doses. Likewise, more than 7 million have received booster doses of the vaccine so far. It's time now for the sports update. Majority of the 183 sports associations registered at the National Sports Council have been found violating the Sports Development Act by failing to hold their elections and appointing office bearers, among others. The monitoring authority, National Sports Council, too, has remained indifferent in this regard. Based on the new Sports Development Act introduced by the government 2 years ago, by scrapping the previous Sports Act 2048, 4 or more provinces could come together to form a national sports association, while 4 or more districts can create a provincial entity for themselves. However, All Nepal Football Association (ENFA) is the only association that has changed its structure so far. Majority of the association registered at the National Sports Council are yet to establish their offices. Around 10% of the associations at the council, including National Volleyball Association, Rugby Association and Badminton, have begun their processes. Based on a report by the Auditor General, 93 associations have yet to renew their membership, while 31 associations have yet to hold their general assemblies and 25 are operating on an ad hoc basis. The lack of interest in going by the rules has invited legal implications on the associations. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, why has National Sports Council failed to monitor sports organizations? Your options are A, incompetent leadership, B, politics in sports, and C, lack of support. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.